Welcome to another Depth Dive. Today we're unpacking a really unique set of sources, excerpts from a simple love story for English learners.
Right.
Now, before you sort of dismiss it as just, a language thing, consider this. How does a story that's deliberately simple manage to convey such, profound truths about connection? It kind of defies our modern expectations of romance.
Exactly. And that's really our mission here, isn't it? To peel back those layers, to look at this seemingly straightforward narrative and pull out these universal truths. How real relationships actually form and evolve, the critical importance of vulnerability.
Right.
And maybe why, in a world that wants everything instantly, these quiet beginnings can lead to something much more enduring.
So let's explore what Mia and Leo's journey really teaches us about finding real in those quiet places, and maybe why simplicity could be the key to a long and interesting connection. Okay, so our story opens in a small bookstore. We meet Mia, and interestingly, it says she didn't believe in love stories, thought they only lived inside books.
Which is fascinating, yeah, for someone working with books all day.
Totally. Then Leo walks in. He's new in town, looking for something slower, looking for peace. So how does that initial interaction, just a simple hi, immediately kind of subvert what we expect from romance? Sets a different tone, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's such a counter-narrative. We're so used to the sparks flying, the dramatic meet cute, the witty lines right off the bat.
Right.
But this story just grounds itself in the power of the ordinary, almost mundane, really.
Yeah.
That simple hello, it's not just a greeting. It's like this tiny, unassuming catalyst.
Yeah.
And Mia, she hands him the quiet heart without even a word. It sort of mirrors his search, doesn't it?
It does.
And then he keeps coming back, not always for books, but, for conversation. It makes you wonder, doesn't it, in this whole swipe right, instant connection world? Do we just miss the magic in these quiet, unhurried beginnings? It feels like true connection often, whispers before it shouts.
It's those tiny details that really get you, though. Like Mia starting to listen for the bell around 9:15, waiting for him.
Yes, subtly.
Subtly. And Leo noticing, exactly how she tucked her hair behind her ear when she laughed. The script says no rush, no big drama.
Right.
Just these two people getting closer through shared mornings, slow smiles. It really hammers home that idea of foundations being built, brick by brick, or moment by moment, I guess.
Exactly, moment by moment. And what does that suggest about, an authentic foundation? It's built on observation, on routine, this gentle curiosity, not big performative acts. In an age where everyone curates their online selves, this story kind of reminds us, maybe like attachment theory does, about consistent, low-key presence being more important than, say, high-intensity sparks that just fizzle out.
Right, consistency.
It shows that authenticity often just lives in accumulating those small moments.
Yeah.
They're learning each other through just being there, picking up subtle cues.
Yeah.
It feels organic, like you said, unfolding like a good book. It implies a strong connection isn't about being swept off your feet necessarily, but finding that comfortable rhythm, that sense of calm reliability with someone. And, as we'll see, that slow start becomes the bedrock later.
Speaking of challenges, Chapter 2, the weather changes. Big time. A heavy downpour. But it seems to create this, unexpected intimacy. Like the world outside just shrinks away.
Yeah, a cozy bubble, like you said.
Exactly. So Leo arrives late, soaked. And we get this immediate playful banter. Mia says, "You're late." And he comes back with, "You're early." It's quick, unexpected. How does that teasing hint at, a deeper comfort, a shift?
Well, this is where it gets really interesting, I think. Because the rain, it's not just weather, is it? It's like this symbolic backdrop for them to be more vulnerable, to confess things. And that banter, "you're late, you're early," it moves them past just being polite. It shows they're comfortable enough now to tease each other, to challenge playfully. That's a big step in intimacy, right? A sign that things are getting richer.
Yeah, definitely.
Their unique ways of speaking are starting to be, recognized, maybe even enjoyed.
And right after that, Leo shares something really personal. He admits he left his high-paying city job because he felt empty. He was looking for something real.
Yeah.
And what's striking is Mia's reaction, just immediate understanding. She recognizes that feeling of being stuck in a life that looked good from the outside but felt wrong inside. It just instantly creates this bridge between them. So if we look at the bigger picture of relationships, what's that telling us about shared vulnerability?
Well, the power there is immense. It's about shared introspection, really.
Yeah.
Leo isn't just stating a fact about his job. He's talking about this deep existential crisis, this search for authenticity.
Right.
And Mia's silent nod, her internal recognition of that same feeling, that's a huge connection moment. Sociologists might call it mutual self-disclosure reciprocity.
Okay.
And that works way better, frankly, at building trust and intimacy than just finding out you both like the same movies or something. It's not about fixing things for each other, just recognizing and empathizing. It really deepens the connection when you see and accept the, let's say, less polished parts of someone and they resonate with your own stuff.
Yeah.
It's like the rain washing away the masks, letting their real selves connect. And that's right when Mia says that key phrase.
Real things come slowly.
Exactly.
Yeah, she contrasts it with fireworks, big signs. Says real things are quiet, like books, or morning coffee, or rain. And it feels so powerful that they find this understanding right there in that quiet moment. They talk for 2 hours, lose track of time completely. What does it mean that they get so absorbed, just driven by honesty, not by some big event happening?
It means the connection isn't relying on outside stuff, external stimuli or manufactured fun. It's self-sustaining.
Okay.
Losing track of time like that, that's like a deep flow state between them. They're just so present with each other. It's more than understanding. It's shared emotional resonance.
Right.
And Mia's observation about quiet things being real, that really sets the tone, the whole philosophy for their relationship.
Yeah.
It validates the slow, organic way they've been building things.
Yeah.
It's like they both agree. The something real they're both looking for. It's found right here in these unhurried, honest moments.
Yeah.
That becomes their blueprint, really. Depth over drama.
But then, just as things seem to be really clicking, Leo disappears for weeks.
Yeah, real test.
And Mia feels his absence like a missing page in a book, which is just such a perfect metaphor for her, right? The bookseller.
It really is.
So how does that sudden silence, that deep down feeling she has, how does that underscore the depth of the connection they'd actually built, maybe even before she fully realized it?
Well, the absence reveals the true weight of it, doesn't it? You often don't realize how deep something is until it's disrupted.
True.
Her feeling of a missing page, it's not just that he's not physically there. It's the rhythm that's broken, the silence where the conversation used to be. It shows how much she'd already started relying on his presence. Maybe unconsciously. The silence becomes, ironically, really loud. It points to the space he'd started to fill in her life, a void she wasn't expecting.
And then she finds the book, The Quiet Heart, unreturned. But inside, there's Leo's note.
Right. The confession.
Yeah. I didn't know how to say goodbye. I didn't plan to leave like this. And he promises to come back, to share his own story with her. It's almost like an ungoodbye,
That's a good way to put it. An ungoodbye.
What does that reveal about Leo? His internal conflict, maybe his fear, but also his real feelings for Mia?
Well, the note itself is not an ending, is it? It's this act of vulnerability, but also a kind of subtle promise, like a holding statement.
Okay.
His inability to say goodbye face to face suggests he's struggling, right? With his own feelings, the weight of the connection, maybe conflict between wanting something real and perhaps an old habit of running from difficult emotions. But the promise to come back and share his story with her, that's huge. It's a declaration of trust, of intimacy. It says Mia isn't just some random encounter. She's part of his narrative now, part of the real he's trying to figure out. He values her insight, wants her to be a witness, maybe even a co-author.
And Mia's reaction to this ungoodbye is really interesting. It says she feels surprise, disappointment, warmth, but crucially, no anger, no tears. She just sits with the silence.
Yeah, absorbs it.
Then she starts doing this thing, putting out a second coffee cup every morning, just in case.
Mm-hmm.
And then, this pivotal moment, Leo's sister shows up, delivers his notebook titled Chapter 1, and it has his handwritten words about Mia, the coffee, how he still believes in love stories. How does all this shift Mia from just waiting passively to something more active, more hopeful, like turning the page, as the story says?
It's such a crucial transformation for her. First, her quiet processing of the note, that mix of surprise, disappointment, warmth, it shows real emotional maturity. She's understanding his internal world, not just reacting to her own hurt.
Right.
And the second coffee cup, it stops being just desperate waiting. It
Yeah.
becomes this quiet declaration of her openness to him still.
Okay.
But getting that notebook, Chapter 1, that's profound validation. It confirms their connection wasn't one-sided from his perspective either.
Yeah.
Those opening lines. Mine began with a cup of coffee and a woman who didn't believe in love stories. But I did, and I still do.
Wow. Powerful.
So affirming for her. It shifts Mia from just waiting for him to return to actively embracing the possibility of their story. She acknowledges her role in it. Hope becomes this conscious, deliberate choice. It's her turning point, really.
Yeah.
From reactive to proactively, quietly hopeful.
Okay, so 3 more months go by after she gets the notebook. Mia is still holding on to that hope, even though the second cup often goes cold. It's that quiet persistence, very much that slow love theme.
Right, it's consistent.
But then a setback, a big one. She loses Leo's notebook, and the feeling is like losing him again.
Oh, devastating.
Yeah. How does that loss hit her, especially after the roller coaster of him leaving? Then the hope from the notebook, it feels like real despair.
Well, Lost Notebook becomes this physical symbol of her emotional state, right? Objects carry that weight in stories. Her despair is so real because the notebook isn't just paper and ink. It's the one part of Leo she could still touch.
Yeah.
It's the tangible link to their story. Losing it feels like a final severing after she'd nurtured this fragile hope. And her decision then to stop making the 2 cups of coffee, that shows a moment of real surrender. Like maybe the story just wasn't meant to be finished. It's a very raw, relatable low point.
But then this moment of serendipity, a young boy returns the notebook, and on the back page, in messy kid handwriting, books find their way home. I hope people do too.
Just perfect, isn't it?
It really is. And this triggers something in Mia, a cathartic release. It's not even about Leo directly, but this universal truth from a child.
Exactly. The child's message is so simple, but so wise. It's this moment of unexpected grace, a reminder that some things, maybe some people, just find their way back.
Mm-hmm.
And that simple kindness, that innocent wisdom, it's not really about Leo coming back then. It's about Mia's own journey, her finding trust again, maybe in the process of life itself. The tears she cries aren't just sad. They're the kind that clears something inside you, like rain after a long, dry summer.
Yeah.
It's a release, a turning point where she starts healing, not because Leo's back, but because she reconnects with something resilient inside herself.
And this is where it gets really transformative, I think. Mia doesn't just go back to waiting. Instead, she starts writing her own story.
Yes, this is key.
About the little things, right?
Yeah.
The boy, the park, the quiet ache of missing someone, that second cup. How does this act of self-discovery, this independent expression, how does it fundamentally change her? Make her feel not so lost anymore, and crucially, prepare her for whatever happens next, whether Leo comes back or not.
This is maybe the most important turning point for Mia. Psychologically, you might call it self-differentiation. By writing her own story, she shifts completely. She's no longer just passively waiting, anxiously reacting. She's actively creating her own narrative. She's not waiting for someone else to complete her. She's finding that completion within herself and focusing on the little things. That means she's finding beauty and wisdom in her own immediate reality, not just yearning for some idealized future.
Right.
This active expression builds her self-reliance, her emotional resilience. It makes her whole. And that makes her ready to engage with Leo or anyone, not out of need, but from this place of quiet strength, self-possession. It's the best preparation for real, lasting love, the kind between two whole people.
So winter arrives, quietly, and Mia has changed. She's stopped waiting and started living, reading more, writing more. That feels incredibly significant. What does that evolution tell us about being truly ready for love, especially after disappointment or uncertainty?
Oh, it's absolutely critical. That shift from waiting to living. It signifies this profound internal transformation. You could relate it back to attachment theory, maybe building a secure base within herself.
Okay.
She's not defined by Leo's absence anymore. She's defined by her own growth, her own fulfillment. And that's the foundation for readiness, isn't it? Real connection isn't about someone filling your empty spaces.
Right.
It's about two complete people choosing to share their lives. By focusing on her story, her passions, Mia finds this inner peace, this contentment that makes her attractive, not because she needs love, but because she kind of embodies it herself. She's ready for a partnership, a co-authorship, not a rescue.
And then the quiet heart returns, again, serendipitously through an older woman. And inside, a new letter from Leo, much more direct this time. He writes, "No story feels complete without you in it." And this insight, maybe love isn't quiet. Maybe it's the part of us that speaks the loudest, even when we say nothing. That shows a huge shift in Leo too, right? Moving beyond just wanting quiet peace.
It really does. This second letter, delivered in such a fittingly unexpected way, it reveals Leo's parallel journey, his growth.
Yeah.
His first note was an apology for leaving. This one, it's a declaration of his feelings, a clear intention to return, and that realization that maybe love isn't quiet. Maybe it's the part of us that speaks the loudest. That's profound maturation. He's moved from just seeking external peace to understanding that love itself can be this powerful internal force, an unspoken affirmation. It shows he's been doing the work too, writing his story and realizing Mia's essential role in it. It's a beautiful symmetry with Mia's journey, two people arriving at readiness.
And Mia's reaction this time, not sadness, just a feeling of him being near, quiet hope. And she makes 2 cups of coffee again, but not out of habit this time, but out of hope.
Yes, conscious hope.
So what does that say about love's timing, our readiness, especially when it comes after all that uncertainty, even despair?
It feels like the culmination of their individual journeys, reaching that point of readiness together, even apart. Those 2 coffee cups, they started as longing, maybe uncertainty, but now they're a symbol of conscious, active hope.
Right.
Mia isn't desperately waiting. She's prepared to welcome.
Yeah.
It really underscores that idea that love often shows up not when we're frantically looking, but when we've cultivated that self-sufficiency and openness.
Yeah.
Their story suggests love's timing isn't just about external stuff lining up. It's about both people reaching a point of emotional maturity, vulnerability, readiness to actually do the messy, quiet, honest work of building a life together. Ready for the reality, not just the idea.
And then the moment finally arrives, Leo. Covered in snow, standing in the doorway.
Overtone.
And his honesty right then is just striking. I got stuck in edits and fear and everything else. It's so simple, so human, no big drama. What makes that reunion feel so authentic, so powerful after everything?
Well, a key takeaway there is how much those simple, honest words mean compared to grand gestures we might expect. Leo's confession, it's not some dramatic apology. It's just raw, vulnerable admission of his struggles, fear, creative blocks, everything else.
Yeah.
And that authenticity is exactly what makes it powerful. It grounds their story right back in real human experience, acknowledges the messiness, the complexities that delay things. He's not showing up perfect. He's showing up flawed but present. And that sets a new standard for them, built on real, sometimes difficult honesty.
And his question, is the second cup still waiting?
Oh, chills.
Right, and Mia just wordlessly pours it. That shared silence, the story says, is different. It was full. It feels like the absolute culmination of their quiet journey. That unspoken communication is so profound.
Absolutely. That silence is the language they've cultivated, right? The language of deep understanding, acceptance, built over all those chapters of quiet observation, vulnerability, individual growth. The question about the cup, it's not just coffee. It's Leo asking, is there still a place for me in your life, in your hope?
Yeah.
And Mia pouring it wordlessly. That's the ultimate quiet yes. It transcends words. It means their connection is now at a level where meaning is conveyed just by being present, by simple gestures, no big explanations needed. That full silence speaks volumes about their comfort, their shared history, this silent pact to continue.
And then the ultimate aha moment, maybe. Leo reveals he read Mia's story, the one she wrote for herself, about the boy in the park.
And the second cup.
Yes. And he says, I saw myself in every line.
Yeah.
Then he presents their shared book, Chapter 1, but now it's titled by Leo and Mia.
Wow.
They're separate stories, now intertwined. So what does Mia's quiet, real yes to taking it slow one morning at a time, what does that tell us about embracing this slow love instead of dramatic declarations?
It's so interesting how that aha moment isn't some external firework, but this internal recognition, this shared creative act. Leo reading her story and seeing himself. That signifies a true merging of their narratives. He understood her deeply from her own authentic expression.
Right.
And the shared chapter 1, that's the symbol. Their individual paths have converged into this collaborative story. So Mia's quiet yes to taking it slow, one morning at a time. It's a deliberate turning away from that fireworks model of love, right?
Yeah, seems like it.
It's embracing the quiet, consistent, imperfect, chosen act of building a life together. It acknowledges that real love is a process, an ongoing decision to show up, communicate, share the narrative as it unfolds, not a fixed destination you arrive at.
And beyond the reunion, we see them settle into this new rhythm. It's described as not one made of routines, but of moments. They don't need to talk much. A glance, a smile, shared silence is enough. That feels really beautiful. How does that show the true depth of their connection, moving beyond words?
Well, what's fascinating there is exactly that. The evolution from spoken words to this deep, unspoken understanding, that's a hallmark of true intimacy, isn't it? This new rhythm means they've reached a level where communication is almost telepathic, built on everything they've shared, mutual respect, knowing each other's inner worlds. And that note Mia finds from Leo.
Yeah.
That's how I fall for you, Mia, not all at once, but through the echoes of your days. That just perfectly captures falling in love with someone's whole journey, not just the shiny surface.
Yeah, the echoes of your days. I love that.
It suggests a love built on appreciating the nuances, the quiet moments, the authenticity of how someone actually lives their life. It's profound appreciation for their whole being, their ongoing existence.
And their shared notebook, filled with memories, single words, it symbolizes that continuous, imperfect, chosen act of building their story together. It's like a living document.
Exactly. The shared notebook is the ultimate metaphor for their slow love. Not finished, not perfect. It's an ongoing, messy, collaborative draft. It acknowledges that relationships take constant effort, honest communication, even when it's hard, navigating the imperfections. It symbolizes that their love isn't one big event, but this series of choices, moments, shared stories they create together, sentence by sentence, day by day.
Yeah.
It's the tangible proof of their commitment to keep writing together.
So the story ends with Mia realizing she doesn't need fireworks or fairy tales anymore. She has a man who came back, a story that kept unfolding. and a bookstore that smelled like coffee, rain, and new beginnings. What does that tell us about the difference between, idealized love and real lasting connection?
It tells us that idealized fireworks love is often just that, an ideal, maybe fleeting, maybe unsustainable. Real lasting connection, like Mia finds, it's rooted in reliability, in shared growth, in that consistent, courageous choice to return, to be present.
Okay.
It's about accepting the imperfections, the quiet times, the work involved. A man who came back, that's commitment, resilience. A story that kept unfolding, that's the living, dynamic nature of partnership. And the bookstore that smelled like coffee, rain, and new beginnings.
Yeah.
That brings us right back to the quiet, authentic foundation of their love, but now it's enriched by everything they went through. It's this powerful validation that the best love stories, the most enduring ones, are the honest ones. Written not with grand gestures, but with all those quiet, everyday moments that add up to something truly profound.
Wow. What a deep dive into me and Lear's simple yet incredibly rich love story. It started with just a hello
Just a hello.
and grew through quiet moments, radical honesty, patience, and that courageous choice to return again and again
Sure.
to each other and maybe to themselves too.
Yeah, this story really reminds us, doesn't it, that the truest connections aren't always the loudest or most dramatic. They're found in sharing vulnerabilities, giving each other space to grow on their own, and in that quiet, consistent commitment to keep writing your story, one sentence at a time, with someone who really listens, who really sees you, not just for who you are, but who you're becoming.
So what does this all mean for you, listening? Mia thought love stories were only in books, but found them in notes, in the smell of coffee. Leo found peace, connection, where he maybe least expected it. This deep dive reminds us the best stories don't have to be loud, they just need to be honest. So maybe take a moment now. Consider, in your own unfolding story, how might you lean into those quiet moments today? Recognize their lasting power. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope it sparked some new thoughts, maybe some new perspectives for you, and perhaps, a deeper appreciation for the simple, profound moments in your own life story.